Hey guys, welcome back. In this Blender video, we're going to model this Clover-style shape. It's a simple form, but really good for modeling practice. First, we'll go through 3 different ways to create this shape. So you can see the difference in approach. After that, we'll turn it into a full 3-direction shape, and we'll do it without using Boolean, using a different method instead. So without wasting any time, let's jump right in. First, let's add a circle. Over here, set the vertices to 8, keep it very low. Now go to Top View, and go into edit mode. Move it to the side like this, hold Control while moving so it snaps to the grid. Now move it upward toward the top. Again, hold Control so it snaps cleanly. That way the position stays perfectly aligned. Make sure the snap type is set to grid, otherwise it won't snap correctly. Next, add a mirror modifier. Enable it on the X and Y axis and turn on clipping so the center vertices weld together. Then apply the modifier, go into edit mode, select these inner vertices here, and delete them. Now select these vertices and scale them out slightly. Select the whole thing, rotate it 90 degrees, select everything, and at the bottom, check how many vertices we have. So it's 24. So now let's add a circle. This time set the vertices to 24, so both parts match evenly. This helps when bridging. Rotate it 90 degrees and move it back into position. Adjust the distance as needed. Scale this circle slightly, make it a bit bigger. Now select both parts, go over here, and choose Bridge Edge Loops. Here, you can increase the number of cuts. This helps keep the mesh evenly spaced. Nice square-looking faces, better topology. You can also adjust the shape, bend it to control the curve. And here, change the profile shape type. If you want it smoother or sharper, we'll keep it on inverse square, which works well for this shape. Adjust it until it looks nice and has a clean, smooth curve. Okay, so this looks fine and well-shaped. Now select this back part, extrude it out, and now the shape is done. So let's see the next way to do it. Okay, so here I've kept the same shape. Now extrude it back out. Then use Loop Tool's Circle to make this part perfectly circular. From the side view, adjust the distance. Add a few loop cuts to keep the mesh even, and so we can control the shape more nicely and smoothly when curving it out. Now select this end edge. Up at the top, turn on proportional editing and set the type to sharp. Now you can scale this and adjust the shape smoothly. Use the scroll wheel to control the fall off distance so you can control how much of the mesh is affected. Adjust it until you see it's nicely shaped. Then extrude the back part out, and now this one is done. So let's see the next way. For the third way, we'll also start by extruding the part out, then adjust the distance. Now in the middle, add a cut, then select this edge and use Loop Tool's Circle to make it perfectly circular. Scale the circular part slightly. Now select the middle edge and bevel it. You'll notice it doesn't bevel properly. So what could be the reason? Go over here and turn on Face Orientation. You'll see some parts are red. That means the normals are facing the wrong direction. Press Shift-N to recalculate the normals, and now it is facing in the correct direction. Now select the edge again, and then bevel it. In the bevel settings, change this to percentage, then bevel it to 100%, and increase the number of segments. Now select the full mesh, press M, and choose By Distance to merge any overlapping vertices. Then select the back edge and extrude it out, and now this one is done. So now we've seen all 3 ways. Next, we'll turn this into the full 3-direction shape. I'll use the mesh from the first method, the one we created using the Bridge Edge Loops method, which came out good. First, we need to move this part to the center. So select this back circular edge. Then press Shift-S and choose Cursor to Selected, which will snap the cursor perfectly to the center of that circular part. Now go to Object, Set Origin to 3D Cursor to move the origin point there. Next, press Shift-S again and move the cursor to World Origin. Finally, with the object selected, choose Selection to Cursor, and now the object is perfectly centered. Okay, now we'll create the 3-direction Y shape. But we're not going to use the Boolean union method, the one where we duplicate parts and merge them together. Instead, we'll build the full three-direction shape using another method. So for that, first add a mirror modifier, then add an empty plane axes object. In the mirror modifier, use the eyedropper tool to select the empty as your mirror object. This tells Blender to use the empty as the central point for the symmetry. Now select the empty object and then rotate it. You can see it creates a duplicate copy of the mesh, which we can rotate. Here, you can control the angle as you can see. We'll set it to 120 degrees. Now here you can see the objects are intersecting. To fix that, enable bisect on the x-axis, and now it is fixed. We can add one more mirror modifier for one more copy, and now we have the full three-direction shape. Here you can easily shorten or lengthen this section just by sliding it in and out. This is where the mirror modifier really shines. Notice how the mesh doesn't just pass through the middle. That's because clipping and bisect are turned on. Clipping makes sure the vertices stick to the center line, so you never get a gap. And bisect is doing the heavy lifting by cutting off any geometry that tries to cross over to the other side. This keeps our internal mesh perfectly clean. This method is really useful because you can experiment with the reach of your model in seconds without worrying about overlapping faces or manually merging everything. Now let's sharpen this area. First, add a loop cut here. Then select this middle edge. Select the middle edges on all sides. And now bevel them. The bevel settings aren't at default because we tweaked them earlier, so reset them back to default. And then bevel again. And here, set the shape to 1, so it becomes sharper. Now select all these middle vertices. Turn on auto merge at the top, slide them together and merge them to a point. Then select these middle edges and dissolve them. Now add a subdivision surface modifier. And also shade smooth the object. Now add a solidify modifier. Make sure it's above subdivision, so thickness is applied before smoothing. Apply the scale first, otherwise thickness won't behave correctly. Now adjust the thickness value. Here, enable even thickness, so the thickness stays consistent all around the shape. Then adjust the thickness value until it looks clean and balanced. Add a supporting cut along the boundary, just to keep this edge sharp after subdivision. Now this looks good. Now we'll apply the mirror modifier so that we can bevel the center edges because we can't bevel them right now. Before that, keep a copy of the mesh so we have a backup in case we mess up. Then apply the mirror modifier. Now here, add a loop cut on these parts. Then select these middle edges and bevel them. And now this is done. Here, one thing we didn't do, the middle part should be slightly inward. So to do that, first add a few loop cuts here, then select this middle edge and scale it inward a little bit, and then bevel the edge. And now this looks good. The rest we've already seen, where we applied the mirror and beveled the middle edges. So this is done. All right, we're done modeling this shape. Hope you learned something useful from this, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also comment below and share your feedback. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.